Members, this is the Constitutional Affairs panel. We have a quorum and is the appointed time. Item number 1, election of chairman and deputy chairman. You've been through a lot of elections of chairmen and deputy chairman. So I won't say much about this. Nominations, please. For Chairman, Mr. James Tian. I nominate you, Mr. Tam Yu Chung. Any seconders? Seconded by Mr. Wong Kok Kin. I will accept. And because of this, I will leave the seat for now. The deputy chairman is Mr. Paul Tse. He's not here yet. And I think next on the list is Mr. Lee Chuk Yan, who is not here, then Mr. Chan Kam Lam. Please conduct the election of the chairman. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Miss Helena Wong, I nominate Miss Emily Lau. Any seconders? Seconded by Mr. Alan Leung. Miss Lau, do you accept? I do. Any other nominations? A third nomination? Any? If not, well, the staff will. Well, it's a secret ballot. I ask the staff to distribute ballot papers and a chop to members.
Guy. Hey, that hot. 當我哋委員填妥。
Members, after you have filled in your ballot papers, then the voting will close. No more ballot papers will be given out, and the staff will collect ballot papers. Ballot papers will have to be put into the box personally by members. Under the House rules, candidates will be given a candidate number. If you have not received a ballot paper, please raise your hand. Each member present is given a ballot paper. Is that right? Okay, distribution is completed. Please affix the chalk against the number of the candidate of your preference. Candidate number 1 is Mr. Tam Yu Chung. Candidate number 2 is Miss Emily Lau. We have distributed 43 ballot papers. Voting is closed. Please collect the ballot papers. No more ballot papers will be given out. We have given out 41 ballot papers. Please check again to see if that's the correct number. "41, is that right?" The clerk told me that 39 ballot papers have been distributed. If you've completed your ballot papers, then voting is closed. No more ballot papers will be distributed. Please collect the ballot papers. Yes, what's the problem? You did not announce that there will be a collection. I did.
Okay.
37 ballot papers have been distributed. That's the number after verification. And I'll ask the two members who have made nominations to come to supervise the counting of votes, Mr. James Tian and Ms. Helena Wong. Please come forward.
都未諗到提咗名要出嚟罰企嘅真係。
我都唔識影響啲爭啲。
咪睇咯佢哋。
多謝支持咯。
嚇，好嘅。中大發生啲咩事啊？
有不大嘅。
你同埋傻仔。中大我哋張宇人嗰度口才。
37個，我哋收翻嚟嘅選票都係37張。
We have received 37 ballot papers. Counting will start. Number 1. 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 Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Two. One. 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 Two. Two.
Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. The two members who scrutinize the balloting can return to their seats. Can the clerk please check once again the votes?
好。
Number 1, Mr. Tam Yu Chong has got 25 votes. Number 2, Miss Emily Lau, 12 votes. So I declare that Mr. Tam Yu Chong is elected chairman of the panel on constitutional affairs for this legislative session. Thank you. Next, we will have the election of the deputy chairman. Any nomination? Ms. Sito. Ms. Emily Lau. Any seconder? Dr. Helena Wong, second. Ms. Emily Lau, do you accept the nomination? Yes, I do. Second nomination, Mr. Yip Kwok Him. Dr. Priscilla Leung. Any seconder? Seconded by Mr. Christopher Chung. Dr. Leung, do you accept the nomination? Yes. A third nomination, please? No? Then we will conduct a secret ballot. Can the staff please distribute the ballot papers? Please note, nominee number 1 is Ms. Emily Lau. Nominee number 2 is Dr. Priscilla Leung.
葉國謙同何秀蘭，葉國謙。未，而家點緊。
Yes, we are counting the ballot papers and we're distributing the ballot papers.
好，嗱，我都讀埋。
Let me read out the points to note. After the members have filled up the ballot papers, I will declare that the voting closes and we will not distribute any more ballot paper. And the staff will immediately collect the ballot papers. And members, please put the ballot papers into the ballot box yourself.
好，我哋而家睇睇。
Anyone who hasn't got a ballot paper yet, so you've all got them. A total of 36 ballot papers have been distributed. Alright, if you filled out the ballot papers, we are now collecting the ballot papers from you. Mr. Yip Kwok Him and Ms. Sito, please come to the front to scrutinize the balloting. Yes, a total of 36 ballot papers have been collected. 1 Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. Number 2. Number 1. Number 1. Number 2. 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 Number 2.
對啦，啱啦係嘛？係好。
All right, I declare the voting results. Number 1, Emily Lau, 12 votes. Number 2, Priscilla Lang, 24 votes. So I declare that Dr. Priscilla Lang is elected as the Deputy Chairman of the Panel on Constitutional Affairs. Item 2, the schedule of meetings for the coming session. We will continue to hold our regular meetings on the third Monday of every month at 2:30 p.m. There is already a schedule given to everyone. We will start our meeting at 2:30 p.m. and if needed, we will extend the meeting time. Third item, items for discussion at the next meeting. The next meeting will be held at 2:30, from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. on the 19th of October. The administration has proposed 2 items. First is review on subsidy amount and limits on election expenses for candidates for 2016 legislative elections. Second item, proposals on technical amendments to electoral legislation. There will be 2 items for discussion. Any other item raised by members? Dr. Helena Wong, Chairman. Fire men and also disciplined services, they may be subject to sexual harassment in the work environment. Should that be discussed or dealt with by the CAP? No, I don't think so. Please try to seek the assistance from other panels. Sex discrimination ordinance covers sexual harassment. Do you know that? The SDO covers sexual harassment in schools, in the work environment. These sexual harassment is prohibited. And under the definition of sexual harassment, sex violence is also included. Wow, you are looking at it from this perspective. I originally thought it should be under the security panel. Mr. Lee Chek and I agree that that should be dealt with. Well, we can work together with the security panel and also maybe even perhaps the PSP as well. So in the interest of time, we may deal with it at one panel only, and that is related to EOC, sexual harassment. That should fall within our ambit. I will study with the clerk. I think this subject has to do with several panels, security panel, because we're talking about discipline services, and firemen, and also PSP then is related. So we can view it from different, several perspectives. I'll discuss further with the clerk to see which panel is the most appropriate one to take it up. Dr. Wong, any question on lead in water incidents? Wow, thank you for reminding us. Lead in water, has it got anything to do with this panel? I would have to consult Mr. Raymond Tam. Have you drunk a lot of lead in water with lead, and you are having a longer life expectancy as a result? Perhaps the Women's Commission and also the advisory, the consultative group on eliminating discrimination against sexual minorities. Can we ask them to come here and update us on their work progress? All right, that can be done. Let's jot these points down. I don't want to give you an immediate reply here. And also about the CE. Whether the CE should be covered under POBO, Prevention of Bribery Ordinance. Should that be discussed as well? Yes, we jot that down. I think it's included in C.Y. Leung's election manifesto. When will we deal with it? Can we ask the government to give us a plan? I think you are moving a motion debate on that. Well, that should not be a problem. I think you would get your answer from your motion debate. Any further question? Mrs. Regina Yip. Chairman, I've checked the POBO, the subsidiary legislation. It doesn't cover the CE and also doesn't cover the legislators. Why is that the case? Should we study into that as well? Because the electrical is under separate pieces of legislation. Doesn't cover electrical members. POBO, Cap 201, Article 3, and that is the receipt of benefits. That particular article doesn't apply or cover the CE, and that doesn't cover the electrical members as well. Should we be studying that? That is about the acceptance of advantage. So we will discuss that with the government. Any further items or AOB? No? Then meeting adjourned. We'll have our next meeting at 2:30 p.m. 19th of October. Thank you very much.